Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ask Amber, and today I'm going to go over 55 Blender shortcut hotkeys I absolutely cannot live without. I use these all the time. If you're a beginner and you have no idea how to use Blender, this is going to be very helpful for you because instead of having to click all of these buttons, you will learn how to use hotkeys on your keyboard to make life so much easier for yourself. I will have a PDF which is searchable, and easily you can Control F to find exactly what you're looking for, and that will be available on my website. I will have it linked below, so if you want to download that for free, you are more than welcome to. With all that being said, let's get started. Let's start with basic navigation. To pan around, you're going to want to hold Shift and click your middle mouse button. So Shift and hold middle mouse button is going to pan from left to right. You can scroll to zoom in and out, or you can click Control and hold down your middle mouse key to scroll in and out as well. To rotate or orbit around your mesh, you hold down your middle mouse key by itself and you can rotate all the way around your entire mesh. If you want to rotate and snap to the X, Y, or Z axis, you hold Alt and click your middle mouse button, and it will rotate, but it will snap to the exact axis that it thinks that you want. And if your navigation is all messed up and you're all the way over to the side and you're having trouble orientating, or your object is not in the center, hold Shift C and it will recenter your avatar so it will oscillate around the center. You can do the same kind of navigation on your numpad. So basically 1 is going to give you front view, 3 is going to give you side view, 7 is going to give you top view. And this is X, Y, and Z axis. So 1 is the Y axis, 3 is going to be your X axis, and 7 is going to be your Z axis. Now you can also use 2, 4, 6, and 8 as up, down, left, and right keys to orbit. So you can orbit this way with 4, you can orbit this way with 6, up and down with 8 and 2. You can also use 9 to orbit the opposite way of where you are now. 5 is going to turn it from orthographic to perspective view. Make sure that if you're editing a lot of things in orthographic view that you often press 5 to change it into perspective view so that you can see the warping and the different things it's going to look like when you're actually in perspective. You can use Shift 4 and 6 to roll left and right. Now you can hold Control 2, 4, 6, and 8 to pan. So you can use Control and 8 and 2 to go up and down, and 4 and 6 to go side to side. You can also click your numpad plus and minus to zoom in and out. Now when you're rendering, which may be a little bit advanced for very early beginners, but rendering does have a couple of shortcut keys that I would like to go over. So let's just go ahead and add a camera. Basically what you can do is once your camera is added, you can snap your camera to view by Control Alt 0, and it's going to snap your camera to exactly what you're looking at. To toggle camera mode, 0 in and out. So this is out of camera mode, and 0 will bring you right back into it. Then once you're ready and you have your tab and all of your image settings set up, you can press F12 to render. Now let's go over some general shortcut keys that are super helpful in just your regular editing, moving things around, different stuff like that. A is going to select all. You can do this in object or edit mode, and a lot of these things you can also do in object or edit mode. They have a bit of different function, but the shortcut key is the same. So A will select everything, all of your meshes. In edit mode, A will select everything in there as well. Now, if you want to select only parts that are linked, on this model, the eyes are not linked. So if I select L and I just hover over the area, hit L, that will select all of the linked objects. I can also go down into this little modifier panel and I can select the different things that I want. So UVs, obviously the ears are disconnected via UVs. I can do normals, which is going to select everything that is connected, and I can use that to help my selection. You can also hover over a different mesh, hit L again, and it will select more. You can also hold Shift and select L to deselect. Now I want to show you, now I'm going to click on my mesh and I'm going to go to Object, Set Origin to Geometry, so that when I scale and move things, it's going to move them around this origin point. It's usually set at the 3D cursor, which is down here at the bottom, but right now I want to edit, so I'm going to set it in the middle of my mesh so I can rotate and change around this item, and then later I will snap it using Object, Set Origin to 3D cursor to put it back. The next one is very easy. This is Scale. So you're going to scale using S. That will make it bigger or smaller. And this also works in edit mode. So if I want to A for all and I want to scale, I can make it bigger or smaller, or I can just select linked and make that bigger or smaller, or I can click G, which will move it. I don't know why G is move, but I think of it this way. It's G for grab. So if I'm going to grab it, I'm going to grab it and move it. So if I have a vertex that I want to move, I can use G to move it, or if I want to move it along a specific edge, I'm going to hit GG, and it's going to move it along those vertice edges. It will not move it outside of there, it will constrain it to those edges. To delete vertices or even an entire mesh, you hit X. You can delete vertices, edges, faces, all of those things. Let's try faces. That's going to delete all of those. Or I can go into object mode and I can delete the entire mesh using X. To rotate part or all of an object, you hit R and that's going to rotate, or you can rotate the whole thing by selecting all of it. You can also use this in object mode and it will always rotate around your origin. So this little orange dot means a lot when you're rotating an entire object. It will scale to that origin as well. You can see the line from my cursor to the origin and where it's scaling from. If you're in edit mode, you can toggle X-ray, which means you will be able to see through your mesh by Alt Z. So when you click Alt Z, you'll be able to see the back of your mesh as well. So if you want to select, it will select the front and the back. If you don't have that mode on and you select, it will only select the side that it can see. If you want to apply all of your transforms that you've made, let's say I want to scale it up, I'm going to click Control A and I can apply location, rotation, scale, all transforms, use any of these. I'm going to select all transforms and it's going to set my origin point back to my 3D cursor and it will apply all of these transforms as if this is how it is originally. If I have two different meshes and I want to join them together, I'm going to select both meshes, make sure my mouse is in this main window and hit Control J, and those two meshes now become one. Now the geometry is all still there, as you can see. It doesn't change any of that geometry, but it does merge them together into one mesh so you can edit them together. If you want to add something, so basically a mesh or lights, curves, anything like that, you hit Shift A and it will bring up the add menu. You can add mesh, curve, surface, all of these different things. Most often you're going to be using mesh and curve, and you can add whatever kind of mesh you want and it will bring it in as its own separate mesh. No matter what mode you're in, you can toggle edit mode using tab. So I'm in object mode right now, I click tab, brings me into edit mode. If I am in sculpt mode, I can change a whole bunch of stuff and then I can hit tab, bring me into edit mode, back to sculpt mode. I can also toggle my selection type. Right now I have box select, but I can hit W and go to circle select. W again, go to lasso select. W again, go to tweak, where I can just move different little parts, and back to box select. I can also edit constraining to an axis. Let's say I want to scale everything, so I'm going to click A and I'm going to scale, but that scales everything uniformly. If I want to scale up and down on the Z axis, I'm going to click Z and that will scale only up and down. X is side to side, Y is front to back. I can also do this with lots of other things like rotate. If I want to rotate it, I can rotate it on the Z axis, on the X axis, on the Y axis. You can use it for move. So G, I want to move it only up and down, X only side to side, Y only front to back. You can do this for lots of things, including like extrude and pretty much anything. If you want to constrain an axis, just click on the letter for that axis. Z is up and down, Y is front to back, X is left to right. Now, if you want to constrain to all axes except for one, so let's say you want to constrain everything except for Z, you're going to hit Shift Z. So if I'm moving this around and I hit Shift Z, it's not going to allow me to move it up and down. So instead of hitting Z to move it up and down, I'm hitting Shift Z and it will move it everywhere except that. That also applies for scale and rotation and extrude and all of those other things that I mentioned before. Shift D will duplicate whatever item you have. You can either move it over and click, you can hit Shift D and duplicate along an axis, or you can hit Shift D and right click and it will snap back to the original position. Now let's say I have some normals that are flipped. So I'm going to go ahead and go into normals and flip these normals, and I'm going to click this little drop down right here and click on face orientation so I can see what is right and what is wrong. The red is inside out, the blue is correct, and I can see that all of these are messed up. Let's say you have this on a mesh that you're working on. You just hit A to select all, and then Shift N to recalculate outside, and it will try its very best to calculate what's the outside and what's the inside and fix all of your issues with normals. Then I'm going to go ahead and turn off face orientation so it's not that weird blue color, and go back into object mode. Now I want to turn on snapping so that this ball snaps to all of the faces of this monkey. So I'm going to click Shift Tab, which will activate this little snap right here. I'm going to go in here, make sure my face is selected because that's how I want it to be snapped. And then I'm going to click G to move. And as you can see, it's going to snap itself to the surface of this monkey right here. And then I can click Shift Tab to undo the snapping so that it's freeform once again. If you want to turn on proportional editing, it is a very useful tool. You can select any vertex you want and you can move it out and in, and that just moves it by itself. But if you want to, you can click O, and that will turn on proportional editing, which is this little button right here. And then you can drag and move, and it will bring other vertices along with it. You can use your scroll wheel to increase or decrease proportional editing, so it brings more of it or less of it. If you have a very small mesh, sometimes it'll be really big to start out with, and then it'll move your whole avatar, and then in that case, you just scroll your scroll wheel down until it's the exact proportion that you want. And the way to turn that on and off is with O. Now Z will select your shading mode. When you click Z, it'll bring up this little menu. You can have material preview, solid, rendered, or wireframe, which these are all really helpful. Most of the time I hang out in material preview, but this is complete personal preference. Now if you're searching for a tool, let's say I want grid fill, so I'm going to delete these right here, delete the faces, and I want to fill this in with a grid, but I don't know where to find it. I'm going to go into edge select, and I'm going to select all of these edges, and I'm going to click F3 to search, and I'm going to type in grid fill right here, and there it is, grid fill. You can also search for a lot of other things. As you can see, there's a huge list of things that you can find. So if you're a little lost and you're looking for something, F3 is the way to go. And I'm going to do grid fill, and there you go, it'll fill back in my grid. Now let's talk about some things that are specific to edit mode. If you want to switch between points, edges, and faces, which are these three buttons right here at top, it's very easy. 1 will do points, 2 will do edges, and 3 will do faces. This is one of the most helpful tools. If you learn nothing else, 1, 2, and 3 are extremely important to learn because it saves you so much time from having to constantly go up here and click when you want to switch between edges, points, and faces. If you want to cut through part of an avatar, K is the way to go for knife. So open up your knife and you can use this to cut different meshes apart from each other, and then hit enter to select, and there you go, you have some new edges. If you want to use your knife to cut through an entire avatar, before you accept on the other side, hit Z and it will cut through the back as well as the front. As you can see, it'll cut through the whole entire thing. Then enter to accept. If you don't hit Z, it will only cut through what it can see. As you can see, it will not cut through the back, it will only cut through the front of what it can see. If you want to add a loop cut, go into edge mode using 2, and then Control R will add a loop. So I want to add a loop right here, and I'm going to click, and I can either drag up and down and click to select, or I can right click to snap it to the center where it started, and that will create a new loop. If I want to separate a piece of mesh, I'm going to select that piece, and I'm going to click P, and I'm going to separate it by selection, and that's going to give me 2 different meshes, and I can always tab out into object mode, select both of those, and then Control J to join them back up again. Then as you can see, there is kind of an outline, so I'm going to go into one point edit. I'm going to select all of these points, and then I'm going to merge them. So I'm going to click M for merge, and I'm going to merge by distance, which means it will merge all the points based on the distance that I have selected down here in the bottom. So this is a pretty safe distance when you just want to basically delete duplicates. And so all of these are being merged right now, and as you can see, when I click out of it, you can't see that outline anymore. It's all merged together. You can also use merge to merge individual points together. So I can click on 2 different points, click M. You can either do it at the first, at the last, so that's basically the first point that you selected, the last point you selected, or the center, and merge vertices that way. If you want to find the the shortest distance between two objects, you're going to hold Control and click again, and it's going to find the shortest path between those 2 points. This also works with faces. If you want to click 3 for faces, you click the first one, hold Control, click, and it will find the shortest distance between those 2 faces. If you want to bevel, Control B is going to bevel, and you can move it in and out to choose the distance of which you want to bevel. You can also open up this little tab down here in the bottom and choose like how many segments you want it to bevel, and all of these other options that you have. You can play around and find out exactly what you want to have beveled. If you have a face that's empty, so let's say I'm missing a face right here, I can go into edge mode, select these 4 edges and click F, and it will fill in that face for me. If you have a few faces that are missing, you can go into edge mode, select these 3 edges, click F, and then select the edge closest to the opening, hit F again, and it will fill in the rest of the faces. If you want to inset faces, you hit I and drag your mouse, and it will inset the faces that you've selected. You can also hit E to extrude those faces. If you have a face selected, you can hit Control and plus on the numpad, and it will expand your selection, or minus, and it will decrease your selection. You can also use Alt to select a loop. So you can hit Alt and click, and it will select an entire loop of faces, or you can go into 2, which is edge mode, and select a loop of edges. The last thing we're going to do is weight paint. So I'm going to pretend like this is a VRChat avatar, and I'm going to add a bone. I'm going to scale it up using S. I'm going to move it up using G and constrain it to the Z axis using Z. Scale it up a little more. I'm going to name it head. I'm going to bring my mesh into it holding Shift, so that is part of the armature, and just for the heck of it, I'm going to fix it using cats. I'm going to make sure my remove 0 weight bones is unchecked, fix model. And now we can mess around with weight paint. First, I'm going to go into my armature, I'm going to go into viewport display, and I'm going to change it into stick so that I don't have to look at that big huge bone every time, so that I can have easier viewing. Then I'm going to select the bone, Shift select the mesh, and go into weight paint mode. Now my last 3 little shortcut keys are really helpful for weight paint. You can hold Alt to do a gradient. So I hold Alt and it's going to put a gradient. The thing with this is it's going to put it through the back as well, the front and the back. The closer you have your cursor, the smaller the gradient will be. The further, the larger it will be. If you want a circle gradient, you hold Control Alt and then click and drag, and that will give you a circle. This also goes through the back as well, so keep that in mind when you're weight painting. The last thing I'm going to show you applies not only to weight paint but also to sculpt mode and a lot of other modes. Basically, if you want to change your cursor size, click F and you drag your mouse and click to accept. So I can do a big circle, or I can click F, scroll, click to accept, and have a small circle. So those are all of my tips for Blender if you're a beginner. I really hope that this has helped you. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, or feel free to join my Discord server where we have a big community of people that are very kind, willing to help, and it's great for beginners. So if you want to head over to my server, I will have that linked below. I hope you all have a fantastic day. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video.